Hi. Welcome. Today I came serious. So we're just waiting for people to join and we will start off. Welcome, guys. Welcome, guys. Okay. All right. Welcome, guys. Hope you have had a beautiful day, or you're having a beautiful day, depending on what part of the world you currently are. So I'm just going to give a few minutes for people to join, and then we would start today's episode. 1 second. All right. So I'm just going to give 2 minutes, like I said. But before I start, I'm going to just quickly go through what the show is about, just for people who are joining for the first time. And then I would add my beautiful guest of the day. 1 second. I think my guest is already here, so might as well just add her and build from there. Hi, Moji. Hi, Amaka.
Hi, it's working. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing,
Fine,
Baba?
thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. I know it's been busy for you this week, so I really appreciate you coming on here today. So we're just gonna, just before you join, I was gonna wait for people. So we're just gonna give maybe till another 3 minutes, just to build up, people, so that we can kick off for today's episode. So before, I would say it was okay. I wanted to create more content, like YouTube content, for baby was not having it. So I just had to, I just had to put that aside. I guess they come first these days, so it's what it is. Yeah,
it's about balance.
exactly. So just gonna give a quick run through of what this show is about for people like your audience that have not joined in before, and probably my own audience too. So basically what the show is called New Mom's Diaries. So it's just a series where I and new moms, OG moms, healthcare professionals, like midwives, psychologists, women's health generally are going to be coming on to discuss different topics, and also we'll be sharing our real life experiences. So basically that's what this is about. It's just to put out information, because I feel like not much information is out there. There is information, but not a lot of people are willing to, are getting the right information that they need in terms of when it comes to being a mom. So that's what this is about generally. So I'm just gonna give another 1 minute, and then we'll just start regardless of who's here. Either way, this will be going to my IGTV, because I notice a lot of people tend to watch that at their own time, which is totally fine. So we'll just go ahead soon.
Yeah, if you start anyway, it's okay.
Yeah.
Because
so
I know probably it's bedtime, isn't it? It's bedtime.
I know. So while we're doing that, before we start, I just want you to quickly introduce yourself to our audience of the day.
Well, my name is Fabi Benko. I'm a mom of one, Matteo. I've been married for 3 years now, and my boy's going to turn 2 at the end of this month. It's unreal. What do I do? At the moment, for the first year of my son's life, a full-time mom, focus on my son, but I create content full-time now, and do mainly on Instagram, and create content for actual brands. So you might not see it on my page, but you might see it pop up somewhere.
Yeah.
So that's my main thing at the moment. Of course, next year I might hopefully go back to the traveling job, but now try to manage it with motherhood as well. So that'll be totally new for me, but I'm totally excited as well.
That's good. That's something we're actually I was going to ask you in the questions I have prepared, but yeah, it's good that you mentioned that. So just a quick run through after you, I'm just going to ask you a few pregnancy, related questions before we get into the main topic of the day. So, how was pregnancy for you? Because I know you already mentioned to me, but they don't know that you found out you were pregnant at 14 weeks. So
Yeah,
that's literally your whole first trimester. How was that for you?
literally. My full first semester had no symptoms, zero symptoms at all. And I was living such a busy life with work, the marriage, family, that I just was not in tune with my body. I didn't really have any symptoms, let's say like the morning sickness every day. Like I didn't have that. So I didn't suspect until I sometimes was feeling more tired than normal.
Yeah.
But sometimes as a woman, you just think, oh, you know what, life goes on. You just
Stress.
carry on pushing, isn't it? So like, kudos to like my body for literally dealing with the first trimester alone without my support mentally.
Yeah.
But apart from that, sorry, because my phone sometimes is going on screen mode. Apart from that, I personally, I mean, I know pregnancy is different from everyone, but I really
Yeah.
like, once I found out, it took me like a week or 2 weeks to adjust to the idea, because we wasn't really trying for a baby like that.
Baby, just happened.
Yeah, it just happened. So it was 2 weeks of literally adjusting and then being, okay, what mom do I want to be? Am I ready for this? Gaining tune. And then from there, I literally took the role on in my head, and I literally enjoyed like every moment of it till I gave birth. Yeah. Yeah.
That's really nice. Like, and this is something that I'm trying to promote with this show, is not to let people know that it's different for everyone, like you said, and
Yeah.
that's one thing that a lot of people need to. I keep repeating on every episode that pregnancy is different. The fact that I've had. And your story right now is completely different from the last three ladies I've had on here. You know, some people are like, oh, first trimester was this, but you went a whole 14 weeks without even knowing. So, and that's a good thing, because really
But
it means you definitely did not have any of those really terrible symptoms. So,
but you know what? I think God knew that's why he made me that way, because I'm so OCD and I'm such an overthinker and I worry about every single thing. I don't think I could have mentally managed.
be able to hold that.
Oh, imagine tiptoe for the tour. Like my next pregnancy is gonna be totally different for me, because this is gonna be me for the first 12, you know, like your first like
Yeah.
period, like your first 12 weeks, like literally walking on eggshell, making sure no one bumps into me, making sure I'm eating.
Yeah, I know.
And so I'm glad I skipped that, because it would have probably drove my husband crazy.
I know, and you were still, and the fact that you were working and kind of job that you do,
Yeah,
you would have been very paranoid. I can imagine. So
yeah.
that's really good, I guess. So so before you found out that you were pregnant, did you have any preconceived like fears or ideas about pregnancy?
I mean, before you have all the things, I mean, we always make an example, aunties, all the things the aunties say. Like for me, pregnancy was terrifying, giving birth, motherhood, your body, is your husband gonna love you anymore? How you gonna look? Your nose, your feet.
Oh,
All they do is just literally like, I was literally like, oh, I don't even think I was so much of a maternal person until I had my own child. So I was literally like, I don't think it's for me.
I know, because
Yeah.
this things that you mentioned about, especially for we Africans, the way our mothers and aunties back there portray pregnancy, it wasn't exactly inviting, I would say.
No,
And I thank God for our generation now that is making it different. Or not, it's not like it's any easier. Those
no,
things you mentioned
no.
actually do happen to some people.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen to everybody. But it's just I like the way we have found ways to be able to
Yeah.
make it not look all bad. You know, in the long run, it's a beautiful thing. It's you're creating a whole life that is going to be dependent on you. So,
Yeah.
like I
For
said,
me,
it's
it
yeah.
was one of the main thing was like, even once I found out, I didn't stop. I think that's the trick. Like, as soon as you get pregnant, you don't want to move. You don't want to. You just want to sit down. You don't want to do that. You don't want to stay active. You don't want to like carry on with your life. You don't want to like. I think the more I kept just going, just doing what I needed to do, I still exercise. I still did my thing. My body kept pushing for it. So my body kept trying to find that energy to keep going. I think if I went into that, let me sit down and I'm not doing nothing for 9 months, I think my pregnancy would have been completely different as
Different.
well. Yeah, and
Yeah.
my attitude would have been a bit different as well.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's really good to stay active. I try to push that. I know it's not really easy for everyone,
No, it's not. It's not.
but you know, like I said, it does help to be active.
No, it's not.
That's really a good one that you mentioned. So so I'm just gonna go straight into
It's
how
okay.
was the first few weeks like after delivery? How was delivery for you? And
Okay. For me, delivery was a bit different. I mean, I always push, motherhood. I'm like, I love being a mom. But it was not easy at all. We stayed in hospital. A lot of people don't know, but we stayed in hospital for an extra 6 days after I gave birth. Yeah. So when, I see, like, my friend just gave birth, she's at home drinking a cup of tea. Like, I didn't have that. I was in a bed for 6 days because both me and my son had like a really bad infection. They did lots of tests with him. They were taking him away from me. Like, I was kind of so glad that my husband was there to support me, because by myself, I would have definitely lost my mind. Like, they had to check his back so many times, do all these complicated things. And your body literally don't understand what's going on. Like, I can't really explain it to a woman until she's given birth. Yeah, but literally your body's just like, whoa, what has just happened? Like, this child has come out of me, the belly's not there anymore, your hormones are there, your milk's about to come in. Like, I don't know. I still don't know how we do it, because it's literally
a lot.
yeah. And so the first 6 days was tough. For me, it was tough. Like, you're going through all of that, plus you're not sleeping, and then you're trying to adjust. If you're very fortunate, my partner helped me a lot. It was very, very hard. I think if I didn't have the support of my partner for that first 2 weeks, the postnatal depression would have been like an automatic thing. Because even when I came home, because I was still in that trance of hospital, I was getting like flashes. Do you understand? Because I wasn't sleeping. So if we're not careful as women, you start hallucinating as well.
Yeah.
And no one says any of this. So it comes to a point when I'm walking around and I think I've just dropped my baby, but I'm not even holding my baby. Like,
Oh my God.
Yeah, and you think, and I'll be like, oh my God, good job, I've just dropped him, and he's like, he's fine, he's here. But your body is literally
Going
reading
through
it.
a lot.
I literally have to do like a whole like video post about this, because it doesn't mean that it's not to scare people off, but it's just like, okay, that's what's going to happen. So while you're going through that, if you at least warn the people around you, whoever is there to support you, don't understand what's going on. If nobody knows that this happened, when you're going through all of this, people are just thinking that you're gone crazy.
Yes, it's a lot. And this, we can't, like I said, this is the reason why I'm having this in the first place, because these are things that you actually find out about and you're just like, oh my God, and
I even forgot about that, like hallucination. Oh my God. So I'm walking down the street, and then it's like, all of a sudden in my head, I've just dropped this baby in the concrete. I'm thinking I've cracked his head up. I'm not even holding the child. But it's because you're not sleeping, your hormones, your brain's all over the place, your emotions. It's a lot. It's a lot. But and at the same time, you're on a high as well, because it's like this thing that you've been holding for, like, touching your belly. Out. And then you're like, okay, what do I do now?
Oh wow, it's really a lot. I'm really happy that you had a supportive partner to help out, and especially for we that are here, it's not like in the sense of we are from Africa, and it's not everyone that has like their moms living in the UK or in America, wherever it is they are in the world. So some people are lucky for them to have your mom or sister or someone come help out. But not everyone has that, because people have things that they're doing, and that support really goes a long way. People underrate it, but I feel like is really needed, because we go through a lot in the first few weeks. That's why I thought to ask. And imagine, I'm happy you were able to pull through, and my tail is looking good,
Oh, it's a blessing. That's why I wanted to point out for like people that might not know as well, like, don't expect to go and visit a new mom and expect me to make you a cup of tea. I don't even know what day. I don't even know if it's a Sunday. I don't even know if my babies are like, I'm just in an aura right now. So we literally, I know it was very, very like strict, and it's very like uncommon like in our culture, but we literally were like, no visitors, zero, nobody came. We were like, now for the first, and now we were like, say for the first 60 days, we were like, we don't want anyone in the house. If it's not the health visitor, nobody should come. No. I was like, now we're trying to get a routine of who is waking up, who's feeding, how is he feeding, when he's crying. Why. We were trying to just understand our son, so we can pick up the cues as quickly as possible. That's good. When he was moving a certain way, okay, I think he wants milk, I think he wants to be changed, I think he wants to lay on the side. And that helped us to really connect with our son, to the point where I mean, of course, mom guilt and all of that, but like if something was to happen to me and I was to go away for a week, my husband can deal with it because he knows my son.
What to do, exactly.
Yeah. And I think sometimes it's easy to be like, say that they don't know what they're doing, but until you tell them how to do it, they don't know. And as women, we like to do everything, but we need to sometimes be like, okay, you know what? Let me get help.
Yeah, it's like you said, this the part where you mentioned no one coming, that's something that I personally did with my partner too, because you have to, you and your husband are the ones that are going to take care of the child, so this is a time for you to bond and understand what's going on. So it's totally understandable, and I think giving birth during COVID was another excuse. I was just like, oh, no one, please, no, don't come. So it's really easy for people to say, but I totally resonate with what you just said.
I'm advocate for that, and like God willing, the next time I'll be doing the same thing.
Of course.
I will be doing the same technique.
Of course, I think Erica just commented the same thing and said definitely doing the next the next time. No visitors for the first couple of months.
Either way, they'll see the child. Eventually, they'll see the child. WhatsApp is there. FaceTime is there. It's not now. And with my, maternity pads from the hospital, now I'm having to change to put trousers. No, I want to stay in my pants until my child is fed. My child is 3 days old. I don't need to be now doing, like, I like hosting people. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love hosting people. I love cooking. I love that. But when I've just given birth and I'm running around with my hospital pads, I just want to stay.
You don't want anybody in the house.
Yeah.
I can totally relate with that. That's really understandable. Trust me, at your own pace. So since we've gone through that, and I just wanted to ask, so if someone was to ask you now, like in one word, can you describe what motherhood has been for you in the last 2 years?
I just have to say blessing, like the best thing. Literally, I was never, as I said before, I was never the one like. I was always I'll definitely have kids. That was a no-brainer. I'll definitely like be a mom. But I never truly understand the role. I never truly understand the love. Like my relationship even with my mom's changed because when I gave birth, because I understood. I was like, whoa, like I was this small. Like, my mom was kissing me all over the place, loving me like this when I was small. So definitely a blessing. It definitely it changed my life, but in a way that I would have never thought. Sometimes we live in a world where they automatically tell you when you have a child, your life finished.
Oh yeah.
And that's the narrative all the time, and it's like it was not for me. Yeah, your life might pause, your life may be slower, your life may need some adjustment, your life may need a calendar, your life may need your life may need a diary where now you're just saying, okay, this is the day I want to go out and this is the day I want to stay in. But definitely didn't stop for me. If not, just added purpose. Like, so, yeah, that's for me a blessing. And if you maybe just gave birth or at the moment you're not feeling quite right, that is just about reshaping it again. Okay, what's the problem? Why am I feeling like this motherhood isn't working out for me? Let me start from scratch. Let me write. And you can always retune your mind, because I'm telling you, like, you needed to meet me like 5, 6, 7 years ago. You'd never see me here being, I love my son. But if you follow, you see that I say it every day.
I know. It's like I said, I always tell people, like you already even mentioned, and I mention this every time, that pregnancy and motherhood is not the same for everyone. Do what works for you. Pregnancy is different, but when you become a mom, is what works for you and your partner in the long run, and as you said, like at your own pace. Don't try to conform to what society says, and I keep on saying this, especially for us, we're Africans, there's a lot of pressure. Society says, oh, do this, do that, and I always tell people, do what works for you. And
a lot of people, but do what works for you is the best, especially when it comes to parenting. Is the best rule in the world. And it's not about who gets offended and who not. It's what's best for the child and for the parent, what's best for the child, for the mother. So that's one thing. No one could, because we already embodied that attitude and everybody knew that that's where we stand. Anytime we said no when something cultural they wanted to do, no one could challenge us, because we've made it clear that this is where we stand.
What you want, exactly.
And it might be hard at first. And for example, in our culture as well, it might be the fact that you have to actually be actively telling your partner before the child is here, this is what I'm comfortable with, this is what I want to do. For some people, they like having, like, for example, the mom coming over. Some don't. For example, we were
Don't. Exactly.
so even though, you know, in the culture they want to do this, I'm not comfortable. Is it okay if maybe they come and visit and then go home? Like, you have to have this conversation before, because once the baby is here, you can't be like now wanting to do the argument, because no one's gonna.
That's the last thing on your mind.
Yeah, exactly. So if you kind of like sit down and discuss what kind of parents do you want to be, what you want to do, even discipline wise, how do you want to discipline, who's the strict parent, see what things goes on, grandparents, what kind of leeway balance do we want them to have, all of these things. Once you discuss them first, and then it's squashed. It's not a problem. It's not an elephant in the room, and that just your job as a mom much easier, because it's not now you want to fight everyone.
I know, trust me. And this is something, a very good point that you mentioned, because a lot of couples these days just ignore this topics or things, and they just feel like, oh yeah, we're getting married, and this things about raising the child, things that will happen after giving birth, you feel is not important, but these are things that can actually lead to a lot of conflict. And after giving birth, as a mom, you're going through a lot, and those are the last things you want to start adding to. You know, you should have had these conversations before. So it's really valid. That's a very valid point. So I was just going to ask you more on this topic. Is you kind of mentioned about a bit of it, but I was trying to ask, because I know you gave birth in 2019.
Yeah.
And I know then COVID was towards the end of 2019 that COVID came about. But I wanted to find out, how did that
lockdown was 18th of March, because I remember, because we had plans. We had to cancel. Mattel was literally 2.5 months old, and then we went into lockdown.
Oh wow.
So it was the fact that for me it was very difficult, because it was the fact that we had our first 2-3 months where we didn't want any visitors, getting used to the parenting, whatever. And then I think it was like, the end of February, like 20 something, I was like, okay, you know, I'm ready to come out a bit, you know, see how I can handle going out with a newborn, everything. And then as soon as I was getting to the mojo, it was locked down, back in the house. Husband was working from home. My parents live like 4 hours away. And then, you know, because the lockdowns were quite serious at the time as well. We couldn't even go
anywhere.
Yeah. So it was literally, it was a lot. We enjoyed it because we still stayed in our bubble, but then it became having a 4, 5, 6 month old, and then your husband's in a meeting, Zoom meeting, and then we can't make noise, and then we can't go out. And now we're in a marriage where we're stuck in one living room with a baby that is crying sometimes. Fair enough, it's a child, and then he has to do a meeting, so we have to stay quiet. We have to go in the bedroom, stay quiet for 2 hours, then come out. It was a lot. And literally, I tell everyone that, like, if your relationship made it through COVID, y'all strong. Because everybody says I do, yeah, and I love you this, I love you that, but even at the altar, ain't no one saying that we're gonna be stuck in the house 24/7.
No
work-life balance. It was hard, but we survived.
Hey, like you mentioned, any relationship, because a lot of relationships were actually tested during the COVID time, because a lot of people began to realize that I don't think I can actually stay with this person, because even if your relationship is perfect or supposedly the best, it's a lot. You want your space, because you're used to, as much as you guys are a couple and you're together, you go to work, you come back, you know, there's that alone time. But with COVID, and especially with a baby, is even much worse. That's why I thought to ask you, because I can imagine that.
And then you're looking at each other, and it's like, even your breathing is annoying me. Even you breathing, it's like, why are you breathing so loud?
You start noticing things that you never knew were there. Why are you chewing so loud? Why you?
COVID has not been easy, you know. It's so crazy, because it's like we've been through something that we used to see in films, let's be honest, and we lived it through in real life. But with kids as well, sometimes I do feel sorry for Mattel, because Mattel's like you know, when you see those reels about if you have a pandemic baby. Mattel's a pandemic baby. Like, he just cares about himself. He's really chilled, really quiet, really soft, but he only minds himself. If someone calls him, he will probably just ignore you. And then unless I or my husband calls him before he pays attention, like, he doesn't care for anyone else. So that's why we had to like try and go down the nursery route to really throw him in the deep end, which was really, really hard. But it's done him a world of good. Like he's trying. He's still a pandemic baby, but he's trying. So
It definitely is understandable, and it would take a bit of time, but he would adjust definitely. That's why I thought to ask that question, because I know.
Just worry.
Yeah, I know it couldn't have been easy because I was pregnant during COVID,
Oh,
so that wasn't easy because then you're just choked up in the house. So you can imagine having a baby, and it's a lot. So hey, you're doing good, and kudos to you, love. So I was gonna ask her, apart from COVID situation, so being a mom, has that made you like pause your career, like your own personal kind of like work and all that?
I mean, with what I used to do, like flight attendant, our company actually closed down like literally when I was 8 months pregnant. So I was kind of without a job, literally just a month and a half before giving birth. But I was always gonna go back to it. Of course, it's paused it because when I was ready, this was before. I'm speaking because it was before the official lockdown. So let's say January, I was ready to do paperwork and start whatever. And then it was kind of like, can you start the first week in March? And I'm like, well, no, because my son is like 2 months. Like at that time when they were asking me, I was like, my son's 1 month old. And I've decided in my head, I was like, there is no way I'm going to work until my son is 1. That was my goal. I was like, God, please, no matter what job or whatever, I want to stay at home for the full first year of my son's life. I don't want to go to work. I was like, I even told my husband, I'm not going to work. If I do the 6 months and then the 6 months is unpaid, I want to stay home. So when they sent me, it was literally when they asked me to come back, it's literally like, sorry guys, I won't be able to do it. Like the Flavia before baby would be like, yeah, I'm starting tomorrow. But now it's like in my head, it's like, no, I need to calculate this. I need to calculate that. Is my son going to be okay? My son's still going to be breastfeeding. My milk, my husband's working from home. Like I had all these things to think about that you don't think about when you're by yourself, you're single, or even when you're married, you don't think as much as when you're a mom. Because let's say in my head at the time, I was like, oh, but what if Mattel's crying and he only wants me and I'm not there? And it's like, but that again plays into the mom guilt. It's like knowing that your child needs you and you're not around, like it's the worst feeling ever. So I thought to myself, I was like, no guys, I'll wait. And then it worked. That's why when I say it was blessing, it worked out perfectly because lockdown came, they had to postpone, no one was flying. And it's like, even up to now, people are flying, but it's not as busy.
It's not as before.
So, they're so chilled with me. They're like, oh, when you're ready, give us an email. So at the moment, because I've got so much in the background going on, I'm like, I'm just taking my time, and when I'm ready to go full speed, I'll just start again.
That's really good. And I would say you're kind of lucky with the industry that you work in. Oh, it's not good, but it worked in your favor, I would say.
Literally,
because you're not putting any pressure for you to come back to work, so at least it gives you more time to work on your other businesses, social media and all that, and still have time for Mateus, which is really good. So
it's worked out. Literally, I'm telling you, God's been amazing because everything's worked. Like the timing as well of everything has been amazing for me as well.
Yes, that's good. It's working out for your good, I was saying. So I was just gonna ask one more question. So how have you been able to manage mom life, baby, your marriage, and your career?
The way you ask, that's the trick. Like, the trick question is, how have you been able to manage? I would say barely surviving. I'm managing. Like, it's an ongoing process. Some days I'm like so productive. I'm like, oh my goodness, yeah, I will do the same routine tomorrow. It's gonna be perfect. And then I wake up in the morning and my son's got like a tummy bug, and I'm changing nappies, like 20 nappies in like the space of 4 hours, and I'm checking medicine. And then all I've done is been in bed with him literally all day, make sure he's ate and he's asleep. And then my body is so tired because I've been literally, like, my adrenaline has been pumping for my son, that I'm like, I didn't even pick up a book. I haven't even read a scripture. I haven't even done nothing. I've just barely managed to shower. So the thing with me about managing is like, when the day comes and I'm at the end, the time is there, I take it. So when I'm free, when I've got an idea, like say content creation, for example, when I've got an idea, I make sure I film it, I do it out the way, because guess what? Tomorrow it might rain. It might not even be my baby. It might rain. There might be no daylight. My son's not well. My husband needs me. The house always needs me. That's another story for another day. But I just say, just take the time when you've got it. Today, yeah, for example, yesterday, spent time because of my son. I didn't do much. It's fine. You don't need to be hard on yourself. You keep it moving. Today I was able to do a lot of stuff, cause still look after my son, cook for him. Now my husband's looking after him, and today is a good day for me. And tomorrow, for example, with marriage and balancing it all, it was tough at the beginning, because literally, I would say probably for the first year or so, we literally were so focused on our son that we kind of forgot that we were married. It was kind of like everywhere we're going, of course, because it's just us three, we're taking Matteo everywhere. I was in kind of an advocate of like, oh, don't worry, you don't kind of need the night, like you can go all three of you together. And it was like, it was only like, and if people follow me, they would have known, like it was only like our third year anniversary. We went out in a restaurant by ourselves with no baby for the first time since giving birth. And then I'm like, whoa, oh my goodness, like out on a date with, like, I'm not worrying whether he's eating fries or watching the show or throwing the spoon on the floor or shouting or he needs changing. It was just like me and him. And for like, I say for the first like hour, 2 hours, we were like looking at each other, because it's like, hello, like, how are you? It was kind of like, what's your name? Where did you know what I mean? Because it's like, we haven't done that. And that was the first time I woke up and realized, okay, I need to dedicate time on my marriage separately, because my marriage is like my first baby. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
So,
definitely
that opened my eyes a bit more, because one of my friends, she's an advocate of it. She's like she goes on date night any chance she gets, yeah. So, and she's always pushing, like, Flav, you have to. And I only just understood it like last month. And that's when I literally went to Koji. I was like, okay, when is the next one, please? Because we need this again.
Yeah.
But it really pushed us. So in terms of managing, taking one day at a time. It's a one day at a time situation. And then the days you can't do nothing, you can't do nothing. Fair enough. Even not doing nothing, but still being a mom, you've done a lot. Like you've kept alive. So you've kept the child alive. That's more than
that's a win for you in itself. Like, so it's like you said, it's all just finding a balance, really, because especially in the first 1 year, it's definitely not going to be easy, or in the first few months. But it's just finding what works for you and what works for baby. So, and a lot of people get lost, like you said, in the baby situation and forget that your marriage is the primary thing. And because when baby grows up and baby goes, it's going to be you and your husband again, and you guys will just be there like, because you don't have anything to talk about on you, because everything you guys have been talking about has been baby, and now baby is gone. It's just like, you know. So yeah, that's why the last topic, the last week's episode was about that, mainly balancing marriage and carry and all that. So a lot of people had questions about this. So it's really, really good that we try to find a balance. I'm still trying to find a balance right now.
All of us are, yeah. No one is. I mean, if you're getting it completely right, like, well done to you. I'm still out here trying to figure it all out.
Oh yeah,
I'm still out here trying. Yeah.
I know. If you 2 years in is still, I can imagine we that were just starting. So
but if you can do it now, it's better. Like, don't be like me. Don't wait.
I know. I'm gonna try. Like I said, I'm gonna try.
Don't be like me.
I would try. So so I was gonna ask just one more question, and then we'll open it up to the audience in case anybody has any questions for you before you go. So I was gonna ask. So was it easier? Because I know, how was it for you transitioning from? Because I know you're still kind of in that transition, but how was it transitioning from baby stage to, because Matteo now could be classified as a toddler?
Yeah.
So, and I know that once you're two, speaking at least for my sister and my brother, they've had kids, so they always say, oh, the terrible twos.
Yeah. Okay. So with that one, of course, it was scary. Like the videos, I've seen stories. Like, it's like the most daunting thing for any parent, like, oh, terrible two, you wait till the two, you wait till the two, you wait till the two. Well, Mattel started having these tantrums like around like probably like 20 months, 21 months. Like he started, I was like, who are you? And you know, if you're not careful, like you get so snappy straight away. I mean, we still sometimes use our patient. I'm like, I'm not perfect, but you go into immediately like a negative or attitude about all of it. And then I literally have to be like, nah, I cannot be one of these moms that forever be hating the child because they're two and now they're throwing tantrum. So I literally, I mean, I'll share it on my story if I still find the link. I watched this video, yeah, and it was like how this mom approached like the tantrums from a completely different perspective. Like, you know, I know it sounds very cliche, but I promise you it works. Like when it came to like being patient, understanding what they're going, your reaction when they're kicking off and all of that. And literally for the like few weeks after, I tried to just be more positive at the whole situation. When he's screaming, I usually, instead of being stop it, I literally be like, Mateo was wrong. Mateo was wrong. I know you're patient. Mateo was wrong. Mateo, tell me. Of course he can't, he's not a speaker at the moment.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be like, what's wrong? And I'd be like, don't do that, please. I'll be like, I'll try and be patient. And then I just changed. I mean, I'm still trying because, of course, I'm only at the beginning. But
Yeah.
I'm just trying to approach it the same way I did with the pregnancy before. So I'm just going to do my research, write down what kind of mom I want to be now with a child that might have more than one tantrum a day, and then try and face it like that. I think when the days I'm mentally prepared for whatever you might do, I find like I approach it a lot better than me.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, oh, this terrible too, terrible too. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
it's not really good
forever.
because people, like I said, people always say that, and once you start having that idea in your head, it's not really good because
Yeah,
you're
it's
just only hoping for the
yeah.
worst, and then you don't know how to react. Exactly.
Literally, and it's like there's so much out there, especially like on YouTube. There's so many videos about like tantrums, why they happen. For like, if you're a person like me that you want to know in the first place why they happen in the first place, how some moms have used a certain technique, how some moms have used a certain technique, and you can choose. Like, you can literally wake up in the morning and decide, what mom do I want to be today? How do I want to deal with my child? What steps are gonna help me? And you will approach it completely different. It's the same with pregnancy. Do you know what I mean? The way you deal with pregnancy, somebody will be like, oh, pregnancy, oh, children, childbirth, everything's horrible, 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 horrible. And then that literally sets the tone for how your whole journey is going to be. So, I mean, I'm going to try it out. You know, like in a year's time, when you ask me, I'll tell you if I survived.
I know.
But,
I would definitely be looking out from that.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you would do well because I feel like this journey of motherhood, it's from pregnancy is one. People that are pregnant, like, oh my god, I can't do this. When they give birth is another. So I feel like it's different stages, and we would always find a way to adapt or handle the situation. Because someone just mentioned here that he's a dad of a 7-year-old and a 17-year-old, and he's still struggling and he's still learning every day. So you can imagine. So I feel like it's a process, and we'll definitely pull through. And some comments here are coming in about the terrible twos. Some people are saying that actually it's not really the twos, that it's the three becoming a big one, that the threes are actually becoming the latest thing. So that's what I'm saying. So like now imagine it's changing. So I feel like in the long run, do what works for you, and you will definitely pull through. You have made it this far, and I'm sure you do great. Yeah.
Someone said that it's not until 2-year-old that a child realizes that he or she is a separate person from their mother. So yeah.
Yeah. So that see, like I said, that's a lot. So they are. I feel like what happens is they're transitioning from becoming being a baby and being dependent on mommy. They're fine. You're not, even if you're still, we still look at them as you're a baby, even if you're two. But things are actually changing for them, and they're coming to the realization of things their own way. So the tantrums are just them giving out what they're feeling. They don't mean to be rude. But
and I was watching a video, and it was a lot about building their character from now. So like our reactions, our approach to these tantrums can really affect them as a person, like when they're big people. So I thought to myself, as much as it's hard, in true we have a way that men or like in true we say like I don't want to spoil him. I don't want to this is my chance to raise an adult, a responsible one, and a nice person. This is my chance to do it, and I just need to do it properly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's really true, because I feel no child is born rude or angry, or when people grow up and they say, "Oh, this child is very," I feel it still goes back to the way they were brought up, and if it comes down to the way the parents, because they're literally soaking up every single thing. I feel like babies are like a
Everything,
sponge, so they are
everything.
soaking up every single thing around them. So it's what you expose them to that
Yeah,
they will end up,
yeah.
giving back. So it's is what is. I'm just gonna quickly say, if anyone has any questions, we still have about, say, 10 minutes, so you can start asking the questions if you do, before our beautiful Fla leaves for today. So if you have any questions for her, please feel free to start throwing that in while we're still going about the discussion of the day. So another question I wanted to ask is, because you mentioned that he's now going to nursery. So how has that been for you? Was he I know finding a nursery, first of all, is one thing, because you need to be very, very careful where you're sending your child to, because you're not going to be there, and you need to make, no matter how much you try to find the right one, I know there's still going to be issues. But how was that for you generally?
Yeah, for me, it was very daunting. This is a child that's been with their parents through lockdown, so not even been ever babysitted before, not even like taking him to the grandparents for the weekend. Like, he had nothing. He just had me and Kojo, that's it. So it was very daunting, because as a mom, of course, in your head as well, you're the best. I mean, it's true. I think I'm the best person for my son. So who
Definitely.
else is gonna take care of him properly except me? In my head, I was like, oh, if he falls, if he puts something in his mouth, if he's doing a certain way, if he's crying for me. So I mean, I can't even sugarcoat, like, the settling stage was really hard on me. Some other parents might find it a bit easier, but me personally, I cried a lot.
I know I'm gonna cry.
I cried a lot. Cause then it was like, I mean, every nursery is different, and the settling stage is different in every nursery. But for us, for example, he would be in one room and I would be in the other, and I could hear him cry for me, and I was like, and I'd cry, and I literally was asking myself, why am I even doing this? Like, is this even okay? Is it too early? Shall we just go home? Should we just try again next year? But I just had to try and push through, because of the fact of him not knowing anyone, people, getting used to other kids. So I was like, no, we just stuck it through. I mean, he only does 2 days a week at the moment.
Yeah.
He's at the stage now where maybe we'll introduce a third day if everything goes well. I mean, nurseries are not cheap. That's one thing I can tell you for a fact. At least in London, they're not cheap at all.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So, but it's really pushed him out the shell. I mean, I'm talking from experience, as in, like, 3 months after he goes to nursery and doesn't cry, I can leave him. He walks into the door, walks to his room, hugs the teacher, and goes, and he's not missing me until I come and pick him up, or the dad picks him up.
Oh wow.
Is the probably the first month, the first 2 weeks are the toughest for you as a mom, because of separation and all of that. But if you're doing it for the right reason, you just stick it through.
Yeah, that's really good. I guess obviously you have to, for in Mateo's case, where COVID, it was really a good thing for you to put him out there, to be able to build up that socializing with other kids, and then also the part of you having time to transition back to work and things like that. So I guess it's something that's inevitable. It has to happen at some point. And personally, I'm not looking forward to it, but it has to be done
at the right time as well, though, because
yeah.
I mean, you can choose to put a baby in as early as you want, or as late.
Yeah. I've heard of people that do it as early as when they're still less than one.
Yeah, because literally some moms don't have a choice. For example, some of my friends, like a nurse, 6 months they need you back. Doesn't make sense. So you can put babies as early as possible. But for me, because I mean, that's why I say I was very blessed that I had the opportunity to choose when. It was now that I was ready to be like, okay, now I want Flavia time again. I actually miss it. And it was nice for the first few weeks. I didn't really do nothing on the days he was away. I literally just slept. Because it was like, wow, I can sleep from 9 o'clock till 3 p.m. This is what a wow.
It's a blessing.
Yeah. And it's only now that I'm like, I cherish it. I don't even want to sound mean, but it's the reality of being a woman. Like, I cherish the days at nursery because it's like I can go have lunch with my friend,
Yes.
work, I can clean the house, I can cook, and it's like, and the days go quickly anyway. Like, before you know it, blink of an eye, we have to go and pick him up.
Pick him up.
But it helps. Like, it's really helping me become the woman I now want to be with a baby. I can never be the Flavia from before I had a child, but I can be a better, improved
Of
Flavia.
course, that's the whole point. I think kids come into your life to make you a better version of who you are, not to, because some people just feel like, oh, that yet to have kids. They feel like, oh, that's why I wanted to have actually this question. I also had a topic about balancing career and stuff, because some people just feel like once they have kids, that's the end. Like, oh, I can't do anything with myself. But I just feel like having a child will make you find ways to be a better version of who you are, because then you're not only granting the blessing of becoming a mom, but then being able to still balance your life, still have your career, and still, without a baby will have been able to do that.
It's hard, but it's hard, but it's not impossible. Women are doing it out there. Like, even with the flying, people are like, oh, are you really gonna do that when you're a mom? I was working with women that had 2-3 kids, kids in school. So I'm like, from me, my side, I have no fear about the going back, because I was with moms all the time.
Yeah.
They were telling me, like, they were about to land. Like, if we land at a certain time that matched the school run, these women were flying 11, 10 hours and going on a school run. Do you understand? So for me, I've seen it with my own eyes. So it's not scary to me. Like, I've seen it. So I know somebody said that nursery is such a huge blessing.
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
To be honest, aside the flu and bugs, yes, that part. I thought, they'll be ill here and there. I don't think I have yet to have a 2 weeks streak of nothing. I have yet to have 2 weeks that my son has nothing.
Nothing. Oh my God.
Yes. And everyone's like, oh, don't worry, boost up the immune system. So, sometimes I think until you're a parent, when you're not a parent and you're seeing these little toddlers, all of them have runny nose, and you're thinking, what is going on?
What is going on? Exactly.
Mattel has a runny nose 24/7. I'm always trying to run, put him like Vaseline, because I don't want him to get like
having sores,
really dark like skin here because I didn't. So I try and be as consistent as I can, but until I was a mom, I didn't realize this runny nose thing is a lot.
It's stressing me, because before I became a mom, and I'll say that I'm thankful for the fact that I have older ones. So I'm always, every time I have to, probably when I travel and I go to the house, I have to probably babysit, or I sit down and they come back from school, or she has to go pick them up early. And I'm just like, why are they always having a cold? And it's even much more scarier now because of COVID. And then you're just like paranoid, especially
every time we go, is it COVID? Is it COVID? Is it COVID?
And that's scary in itself, because it's one thing to deal with the fact that your child has a flu, and then now COVID has come, and then it's like, oh my God, because now anytime that your child has a flu or something, at least I don't know about here, but in America they would call you if the child is having a fever or stuff. They'll call you to come get the child.
All nurseries will be empty in the UK. And first you like think, no, I'm taking him out, get him well, and then he'll go back after. But literally right now, every child in nursery has a cold. As long as your child hasn't got fever, he hasn't got like a stomach bug, like whatever, he is literally I think he's just arrived. You wanna come? I think he just finished eating, sorry.
Oh no, it's fine. Hi, Mateo. Oh,
as long as he's eating and he's fine.
Yeah, he'll be quiet.
Yeah. Bye. As long as he's like, sorry.
Hey, come on.
As long as he's like, well,
someone said he's so cute.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, as long as he hasn't got fever, you can take him. Give it to them, because you're paying for the days. Whether you take your child out or you keep them, you take your child out with the girl, you're paying for whatever days
you're paying for. Exactly.
I was like, nah. You guys gave him the code. Carry on looking after.
Carry on sharing the code.
Honestly.
Oh my God. It never ends. But like I said,
No.
it's a continuous cycle and we keep learning every day. And I'm very grateful that you could actually come on here today to share your experience with us. I don't think anyone has any questions so far, and I don't want
No,
to
no,
hold
because
you because I
they kept
know.
coming on here, so it was fine. Because they kept,
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah, so I can see Mateo has had dinner and I'm sure it's bedtime. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming on here to
It's
share your
okay.
experience. It's been beautiful having you, and I'm sure
Oh,
that everyone on here is going to learn something. If you're just joining and you feel like you've missed anything, I'm going to be uploading this immediately we go off, and you can go on there and just catch up on
thank you.
everything that we have done today. Oh, thank you, Oge. Thank you so much. And that was Oge was my first guest, and she was really beautiful. She's a new
okay.
mom too.
I'll watch it back.
Yeah, she's a new mom too, and I think she's still very young in the business like us. So
Welcome
we're
to the
learning
club.
from
Welcome
you.
to the club.
Hey, we're learning. So we look up to people like you, and I hope God continues to
Thank you
give
so
you the
much.
strength
Thank
to
you.
do what you're doing and keep thriving. And thanks to the hubby too for holding down Mateo. Hey, we have to give that kudos, because really it's really not easy. As much as we talk about moms all the time, the dads too do a lot, because every time, apart from the fact that they help us with our kids, when we are down, it affects them too, because they don't want to see their wife sad or going through stress. So it affects them too. So kudos to the dad. I'm actually gonna try to do something where I'm gonna bring the dad. So maybe maybe your hubby will be one of the people that will be coming
why
to. So
not?
please,
Definitely.
let's we need to actually celebrate them because they do a lot. So yeah. So thank you so
Nice
much again
out.
for chatting with you. Please, we'll be in touch, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely,
Okay. Bye,
darling. All right.
everyone.
All right. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.
All
Bye.
right, darling. Bye. All right, then. Thank you, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I hope you've been able to learn as much as I have, because trust me, I have learned a lot. I'm just 6 months in and I'm still learning. So I hope you've been able to take one or two things with yourselves. And yeah, I'll be uploading this up on my IGTV. If you're just joining, please feel free to catch up on this episode and also catch up on the previous episode. This is the fourth one, so I've done 3 already. So please do catch up on them if you're just joining in for the first time. So till the next episode, have a blessed weekend and stay safe, guys. Good night.